Good morning, one and all. It is now um, 4:52 a.m. here in Michigan, and I'm watching a. I went through all my. Oops, I'm turning my volume the wrong way. Okay, here we go. Went through my videos and I found this doctored. Oh, I've got it upside down. George Bush. Wait a minute. Okay, it's called Doctored, and it says the film the AMA does not want you to see. Oh, I recommend it. It's kind of about it's an indictment of the what I call the medical mafia, the AMA, the trinity of the AMA/CDC, the governmental organizations, big pharma, and doctors. And this particular video involves chiropractic, which the AMA tried to destroy chiropractic, calling these chiropractors. This is why I shouldn't do this. Yesterday, I went on and I watched myself, and I said, "Oh my gosh, this is awful. Why would anybody watch me?" Okay, well, anyway, so I'm gonna stop this because it's a really good video. I highly recommend it. It is like I said, it's basically about what I call the medical mafia and the way they treat people, the way they harm and kill people in the pursuit of financial gain, because big pharma companies, rake in billions of dollars every year by selling you prescription drugs and giving you shots that you do not need. And that video basically, it shows how these people, especially athletes, had these issues and, were put on multiple prescriptions because of their pain and their issues, and then found out that that was really killing them. And so they went to chiropractor, and the chiropractor actually helped them. And so alternative medicine is one of my passions. And because if as far back as I can remember, I had a distaste for doctors. I hated going to the doctor because the doctor always had bad news. I was born with mitral valve prolapse, which is a heart murmur. And most people who have heart murmurs, because they're born with that, it corrects itself over time. And sure enough, I don't have an issue with it anymore because I had tests done years ago when I had to go to the hospital, but that's another story. And I suppose I didn't have to go to the hospital, but I didn't know what was happening to me. And but the doctor at the time when I was a kid, he made me go through all these tests. I had to have all these heart tests, echograms, cardiograms, blah, blah, blah. And I was just a little child, and I remember sitting in this waiting room at the hospital while I'm going to get these tests, and this lady, she says, "Oh, hi, honey," because I'm about 8 years old or something, I think. And she says, "What are you doing here?" And I'm explaining to her, and she says, "Oh, well, if you have to have heart surgery, you're going to do really well." And I'm like, heart surgery? What are we talking about? She scared the heck out of me. I'm like, okay, lady, whatever. And here I'm thinking, I'm gonna have to be cut open. Well, eventually the doctor put me on a drug, and I don't remember which drug it was because I was a kid. Put me on a drug. This was later on though, because I was a teenager. Put me on a drug for my mitral valve prolapse, and he listed the side effects, and I remember him saying, one side effect is nightmares, the other's mood swings. And I said, okay. At this time, I was ignorant to the whole medical game, So we got the prescription filled and I started taking the drugs. And sure enough, I did get severe, not just mood swings, I had severe mood swings and nightmares. I had the side effects he described. So we went back to the doctor and he says, oh well, let's just cut your dose. And I'm thinking, is this helping me? I mean, what is this doing for me? Is it really helping me? And thank God for my dad, because he was suspicious of doctors too. He didn't trust doctors. He didn't like doctors. He was always looking for alternative things, which I never understood because I didn't know. Um, but I had an episode of just a terrible mood, where I was so upset. Um, I couldn't. I had a breakdown. Here I am. I'm a teenager, and I'm having a breakdown. And it was so bad. My mom called my dad at work and had him come home. And my dad, in a rare, because my dad was very stoic and no nonsense, smart, intelligent, brilliant man, and rarely showed compassion. But he did this time. He came home from work and he sat down on the couch with me and he put his arm around me and he's like, "What's the problem?" And I said, "I think it's this drug." And so he said, "Well, you just need to quit taking it, because it's probably useless anyway." Okay. So I got off the drug and I was better. And I was stabilized. But the experiences I had as a child with the medical mafia really helped shape how I am today. And every time I get sick today, I say to myself, well, I'm not going to the hospital. I'm not going to the doctor, because what are they going to do? They're going to prescribe me a pill or pills. They're going to try to give me a shot. They're going to try to cut me open. Those are the only things they do. Okay? It's rare to find a doctor who will talk to you about your diet or anything like that, or a deficiency in some kind of vitamin or mineral that you have, because a lot of people have like vitamin D deficiency, especially here in Michigan where the sun hides, in the wintertime a lot and we don't get a lot of sunlight. Therefore, we do not get vitamin D. So I've come into this whole world of quote unquote quackery. And I tell people, because everybody I know, well, not everybody, there's a few exceptions. My pastor's one. Go to the doctor, go to the doctor, go to the doctor. I don't go to the doctor. And then people will say, well, what do you do when you break your leg? Or what do you do? I'll tell you what. I got a story. Man, I tell you, I've got a story for like everything you can imagine. I've got experiences galore. So back in 2013, I was involved in a car accident where my car was totaled and this dude ran a red light. I hit him. I broke my ankle, my left ankle, and I've never broken a bone in my life. Never. And here I am, 47 years old, and I break my ankle in this car accident. And I go to the hospital and they x-ray and they say, yeah, it's broken. Okay, we're going to send you over to Dr. Snyder. He's an orthopedic surgeon. And so I go over there, he puts a cast on, and he says, well, you need an operation. Why? Well, a cast is okay, but if you really want to do it right, we cut you open and we insert a metal plate and some screws to hold that, to fix it and hold it together. And I am so out of it because, number one, I don't go to doctors. I don't trust them. Number two, I've never been in an accident like this where I've broken something. I've never broken a bone in my life. My brain was not right at this time. So I really feel like I wish I'd had somebody close to me to help me make my decision, because I made the wrong decision. Because here's what he did. Number one, he checks to see if my insurance is good. And I only had insurance through my auto insurance. We had a medical policy, emergency. In it only kicks in an emergency. So this is an emergency. I have an accident. And once he finds out I'm good to go with my insurance, he starts pushing surgery on me. And I'm looking at him like, no, I don't want to be cut open. I don't want to be cut open. I don't want to be cut open. I had surgery once on my 6th birthday. I had my tonsils out. And that's another thing. They're always cutting things out of you that God put in there for a reason. Anyway, so in my state, I'm looking at him and I'm saying, but he, common sense is coming through to me, and I'm saying, I don't want the surgery. So he kind of is like, bleh. And he leaves the room and he sends in one of his helpers. I don't know if she's a nurse or not, but she works in his office. And she comes in and she says, she takes me by the hand and she says, oh, honey, really, you need to have the surgery. And she's just going on. And she says, it just won't be, it'll be worse if you just have the cast. And so she plays on my emotions and my fear at the time, because I have not been through this before. And so I'm like, okay, I'll get the surgery. Okay. All right. Cause you're only going to have to pay $500, your deductible. So don't worry about it. It's going to really help you. And then even people I knew close to me said, yeah, I know somebody who got the surgery, and yeah, they're better off. I'm not better off. I got this metal plate and screws in my ankle, and they didn't tell me. If they had told me at the time that I may want to have surgery to take it out, I would have said, the cast is fine. Give me the cast. I'm out of here. I'll be back in 6 weeks. You can take the cast off. That's what I should have did. But no, I gave in to their stupid manipulation, their greedy manipulation. I got the surgery, and now my left ankle is always swollen. I feel the metal in it. I don't even want to think about it. It's really disgusting to me that I did this to my body, and that now I have this heavy metal in my body, and God knows what it's doing to me, the rest of my body, because your body is an intricate thing, and one thing being out of alignment can affect everything else. And that's what the chiropractors, and I've been to the chiropractor, and after my accident, I had some pain, and I said, well, obviously I'm not getting on meds, because I've always been against meds ever since I had that experience as a child. So I said, I'll go to a chiropractor, and he gave me adjustment, and we took x-rays, gave me adjustments, and I felt good. He said, well, you've got arthritis in, this disc in your neck, and it's osteoarthritis, degenerative, and therefore there's really nothing I can do. So that's fine. I knew I'd been injured back when I was in my early 20s. Something injured me at work, and now I've developed osteoarthritis in my neck. And the pain is manageable. I don't have to be on drugs. Actually, getting off gluten helped me tremendously. I still have pain, yes. And now I have an arthritic condition in my hands. And I'm not sure exactly if it's just from my spine or what, but I use herbs. I use essential oils. I use the products that I sell in the company I work for. This is Antioxy. I've been using this. This works on pain for a lot of people. I use this when I get stomach aches because I have digestive issues, or I've gotten food poisoning, and the pain that is involved in your gut with food poisoning. I put this stuff on, and the pain goes away. It's essential oils, okay? There's no side effects to this. The only way there would be a side effect to this thing is if you had some kind of allergy to cloves, or, an allergy. But that's rare. There's no side effects. When you go to the doctor, everything the doctor sells you has terrible side effects, like I learned. And then when I broke my ankle and had surgery, the doctor prescribed me Tylenol 3 and oxycodone. And I took one of each of them and thought I was going to die. So I said, no painkillers. The pain's not that bad anyway, so I'll just take it. But the biggest, most awful thing in that case of the surgery was not so much the pain or even the drugs. It took my body a while to bounce back from that surgery, everything they did to me. Because it really knocked me out. I felt awful for a couple weeks. Because my body's not used to it. My body's not used to all the drugs they pumped into me. They gave me propofol. I had a spinal, where they don't totally knock you out. They just give you a spinal. And, that was awful experience. Yeah, you couldn't leave till you peed. I mean, you can't feel your lower extremities. It was just so weird. And I never did. Finally, they said I could go. I hadn't done what they said I needed to do, but I said, look, I'll sit on a towel in the car just in case I leak, let me out of here. I got to get out of here. And so they released me, and I went home and recuperated. And like I said, it took me weeks to get over all the crud. I mean, they just pumped crap. And I mean, they'll give you drugs. You're not even aware they're giving them to you. When you go into the hospital, they're pumping you full of crap, and you're like, what's that? And you're there like, oh, this will help you. And, oh my God, I get so frustrated if I ever even have to go close to an allopathic doctor. I freak out. And so I'm a vocal proponent against the westernized medical mafia, where the only protocol, the only modalities are synthetic chemical, man-made chemicals, which kill you, shots which can kill you or give you horrendous diseases, autoimmune diseases, Guillain-Barré. That's what the flu shot does to you. And I'm amazed that people don't get it, but I hear from people all the time, and they say to me, the doctor put me on these drugs, and oh my gosh, I wanted to die, and I got to get off these drugs. I can't take it. And so they're looking for natural means. And that, if you don't die, if they don't kill you, you survive their protocols and their poison, then most people, I would guess probably well over 50%, it's got to be, if you survive it, will say, well, I'm not doing that again. I got to seek something more natural, like chiropractic or herbs, essential oils, minerals, vitamins. No one has a Lipitor deficiency. No one has a Prozac deficiency. You have vitamin deficiency. You have mineral deficiency. Your diet sucks. That's why you get sick, or it's spiritual. And that video I showed even deals with that. There's so many components to this life, and your health cannot be a one size fits all. And that's how allopathic medicine is. Take this vaccine, take this drug, one size fits all. That's it. And it treats symptoms. It doesn't get to the crux of the issue. It doesn't go to the heart of what your issue is. It treats symptoms. Then when it creates side effects, that it creates more symptoms. So you go back to the doctor and you say, well, now I've got this symptom. And then they say, okay, well, let's add, not take away this drug and do this drug. Let's add this drug. Because then that'll be better. Okay. So you add a drug, and then you get more symptoms, and you get worse. And you go back to the doctor and you say, well, now I got this and this and this. And the doctor says, okay, well, let's add this. Not let's take away this and this and you put you on this, but let's add this. And then this goes on and on and on. And then pretty soon you are, 75 years old and you're on 12 different prescriptions. Or I know a lady she's 11 years younger than me. She's 40, almost 42. She says, I'm only on 4. I'm like, I'm on 0. And the average, the average adult is on I don't know, is 7 different prescriptions. The average. Somebody's picking up picking it up for me to be in there, because the average American, and that includes everybody. So somebody's got to take up the slack for me, because I take 0. I don't take a prescription. I don't go to doctors for health maintenance or if I'm sick. If I get sick or I feel like I'm starting to get sick, I use essential oils. I use silver. And I drink health drinks, green, super green foods, take minerals, vitamins. Am I the healthiest person on earth? No. I've got issues. But I figure my issues out, or I go to someone who promotes essential oils, minerals, vitamins, things that come naturally from the earth, and they're not produced by big pharma, and they don't cost $1 zillion. But prescription drugs, they're complaining, oh, they're too expensive. Well, yeah, because these greedy SOBs, that's what it's for. And they know what they're doing. They know that they're harming and killing people. What is it now? Is it the third or is it the second? It may have jumped up to second. The third leading cause of death, it was, but it may be second by now. I don't know. The third leading cause of death in the United States of America is by that's right. Doctor error. Medicines, hospital things that happen to you in the hospital. You get an infection. People get infections all the time in the hospitals. These people they're the quacks. They're the charlatans. And there's, the whole scope of it that the prescribes drugs, not just the MDs and various doctors, specialized doctors, but psychiatrists, all prescribing. Here's your pill, take your pills, get your pills, take your pills. And then, of course, there's the fact that people are getting addicted to these pills, these painkillers, and it's an epidemic. Well, why is it an epidemic? Because of the stupid doctors that are doing it. Hello, they're complicit. Are they trying to hurt you? I don't think they're trying to hurt you. I really, truly think maybe they want to help people, but they're not. And they need to wake up. I wish the doctors in the United States would wake up. You're not helping anybody. There have been some people, and you see them on videos like the one I showed you, and they realize that things aren't getting better. They're getting worse. There is so much diabetes, type 2 diabetes. There's so much cancer in little children. Where's that coming from? It's got to be the vaccines. It's got to be part of it, shooting aluminum into your brain. All these, it's just, I could go on for hours and hours and hours. And I don't want to do that. But I do want to say that don't put yourself in the hands of the medocrats, the medical mafia. Put yourself in your own hands. Take the power that you have. You have power over your own self. You are in charge. If you want to know who's supposed to run your life, make the decisions of what you do. Look in the mirror. That's who's supposed to do it. And when you surrender that power to some guy in a white coat who tells you that you're going to be bettered by these drugs that make the big pharma companies billions of dollars every year, that are not tested long enough, that really we in the public who take these drugs are the guinea pigs to find out what they really do to people. If you put yourself in that place, your life's going to be miserable. Your quality, like a guy said in the video, he went to the doctors because he had this pain. He found out, they said he had multiple sclerosis. So, oh my gosh, what do I do? Okay, doctors, what do I do? Okay, here's a pill, here's a pill, here's a pill, here's a pill, here's a surgery, here's this, blah, blah, blah. And then he finds out he's worse than ever. And so he says, these doctors are not helping me. There's lots of them, and they're not helping me. Their protocols are harming me more than I was harmed before I ever went to the doctor. So he says, well, I'm going to go to a chiropractor. And then eventually, he gets his life back. He gets his health because he eats better. He goes to the chiropractor, et cetera, et cetera. And so he said, well, how do you know what's wrong with you? Well, if you don't want to quit going to doctors, go to a naturopathic doctor. Because they deal in natural substances. Okay? Things that don't hurt you. When you eat kale or broccoli, is that bad or good? It's good if you don't have any pesticides on it. It's organic, whatever. You clean it right. Eating fruits and vegetables will not harm you, but taking their drugs will. Okay. Taking a vitamin or a substance that should be in your body naturally, like MSM, sulfur. We need sulfur in our bodies. We have to have it. But a lot of us lack sulfur because of our processed food diets. And even eating vegetables where the soil has been so overworked. You're supposed to let the soil rust every 7 years. That's biblical. But it's also, it's a good idea. You don't plant every year. Every 7th year, you don't plant. And because of that, our bodies are lacking in these minerals and substances that are natural, that God put there and wants to be there. And for our body to function, normally we have to have like vitamin D, we have to have vitamin C, we have to have, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you don't have enough sulfur in your body, MSM, so you can take a supplement, and it helps a lot of people. MSM, for example, good for your joints, good for your hair, your nails, your skin. Like if you use MSM, you won't get stung by mosquitoes. I'm serious. You won't. I mean, like for me personally, I used to burn in the sun very badly, and everybody gets bitten by mosquitoes. But I noticed since I'm using a body wash that has MSM, I do not burn like I used to, and I don't get bit by mosquitoes like I used to. It's like there's something in it that in your skin that they don't like it. So substances that come from the earth are best. They're better for your body because our bodies come from the earth. Now, whether you believe in evolution or you believe in creation, it would be the same, same thing. I believe in God and creation, so Adam was formed from the dust of the earth. And when we die, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, our physical bodies go back to. So our physical bodies are meant to take in these natural, earthly substances. That's what helps us. Food, if you're not getting it in your food, then you supplement. That's the way it goes. If you're not getting vitamin D through the sun, then take some vitamin D. If you're not getting vitamin C because you don't eat oranges or whatever has vitamin C in it, you take a supplement. And of course, then there's that whole world of which supplements are good, blah, 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 blah. But the point here is this. You are in charge of your own health. That's the bottom line. And so when you submit to these medical mafia misfits, you're really taking a chance with your very life. With your very life. I have so many anti-doctor stories. I don't even know where to, I could sit here for 3 or 4 hours talking about just my experience with doctors. And I had a bout of tachycardia many years back, and probably almost like 19 years ago or something. And I didn't know what was happening. I was walking my little dog, and all of a sudden my heart started racing, and I'm like, oh my God. I had to sit down. I had my cell phone on me, so I called my husband at the time, and I said, I think I gotta go to the hospital. Something's wrong with me. So he came and picked me up, took me to the hospital. And when it's your heart, they take you right in. Get in here. My heart racing. So they said, okay, we're going to give you a shot, and it'll briefly stop your heart for a couple seconds, but it'll slow it down. I said, do you have to? You have to stop my heart? They're like, well, yeah, we got to slow your heart down. Okay, I don't know. I've never had this before. So they give me a shot. It doesn't work. They're like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this before. Okay, so they give me another shot, and it works. It literally stops my heart for a few seconds, and then I said, and I had asked them, I said, well, what if it doesn't start? And they said, well, we got the instruments here to start it back up. So it was okay, and it was the weirdest feeling I've ever experienced in my life, in my physical body, because when they gave me the shot, you feel this pulsation, this like electrical pulse thing go through your entire body, starting at your chest and going down. And I remember feeling it in my legs all the way down to my toes, and then it was gone. And then after the whole episode, I would get these weird, I don't know, weird electrical current type things in my legs. And it was, I swear it must have been a side effect from what they did to me. And it eventually stopped, but it was freaky. So I find out, okay, so I go in there and I got this tachycardia, and they say, well, we're going to keep you overnight. Okay. And they send me to another hospital because they're all booked up at the one I'm at. So I go over there, and oh my God, it's a horror story. It's just terrible. I can hear the nurses out in the hallway after they bring me in, and I hear one of them say, oh, what's wrong with her? And then they hear them talking about me. And one of them says, oh, she's a self-pay. This is prior to Obamacare, right? She's a self-pay. And they're like, oh, and I'm thinking, oh my God, are they going to kill me in my sleep because I don't have insurance? Are they going to kill me? What are they going to do to me? So it was scary. And so the next day they gave me all these tests, and I ran on a treadmill, and they did a cardiogram and all these echo, whatever. They said, wow, your heart's pretty healthy. And I'm like, do tell. I said, do you see the mitral valve prolapse? No, there's nothing there. Oh, praise God, it's gone. So they're telling me, oh no, your heart seems to be pretty good. Okay, cool. So heard me back into my room, but you can't be released. Can I go now? No, you can't be released till you see the cardiologist, Dr. Longabout. Okay. So I wait. Finally, the cardiologist comes in, and I got to admit, as far as doctors go, there was something about him. I liked him. He was kind of handsome, and just, I don't know. He just kind of had this way, it was, he was laid back. I think that's what it was. Most doctors are kind of stuffy, like, I'm the doctor, I know what's best for you. Don't ask me any questions. He wasn't like that. And I really liked him personally. He said, Martha, you have two options. You can take a pill, a prescription, which when you get tachycardia, you just take the pill and it stops it. Okay. Or not it stops it. It may stop it. It doesn't always work. They gotta sometimes they're upfront about it. Or you can get an ablation. I guess it's pronounced ablation, which is where they stick a catheter up in you and they aim at your heart and they burn it a little bit. The premise is, I don't know. I've read about it. I don't even remember. I can't even explain what it is. It's just that they put a catheter in your body and burn your heart. Sounds barbaric to me. And I know a guy who's had 3 ablations because he has an arrhythmia, and he still has it. He still has the arrhythmia. 3. He had 3. So I get out of the hospital, and I talk to my real doctor, who's a naturopath, and has helped me a lot over the years. I don't really go to him anymore, but when I did go to him, he helped me. And he's not he's a quack. And I told him what the cardiologist told me, and he said, "Oh, don't do that. Don't get the ablation. Don't do that." And I said, "I don't want to do that. That sounds hideous." He said that those things don't work. Maybe I don't know. He's right though, because my friend Mike had 3, and he still has his arrhythmia. So life goes on, okay, and I found out, well, they said my heart's okay, so obviously it's not my heart. Something else. So then I'm getting this thing where it's in my digestive system, in my stomach. There's something wrong. And I don't know exactly what it is. And I say to myself, well, I'm not going to the doctor. I'm going to find out what this is without the doctors, because the doctors think it's my heart, and my heart is something's wrong with my heart, even though they told me there isn't. But there is. They don't know. They just don't know what the hell they're doing. So I go to this friend of mine who he's an older gentleman. He's half Sioux Indian, half white, half Sioux Indian, and just a super, super great guy. Good friend of mine. I say Ed, and I describe my symptoms to him. He says, "Oh, you've got a hiatal hernia." And he smiles and he says, "I'll show you how to fix it." He takes me in the back room of the health food store. He says, "Here, lay on this table." He showed me how to push my stomach down, because what had happened was my stomach is rising upward, and it actually hit my heart. And I've been in tachycardia 2 or 3 times, but now I know how to kind of ward it off. Or you don't need the shot to stop your heart either. One time when I went into tachycardia, I got out of it I tried all the other tricks I'd read about, like sticking your face in ice water, and nothing worked. And I was getting really panicky. So a friend of mine said, "Here, sit down, relax." Just started massaging my shoulders, just massaging, and it stopped. So there's ways to deal with it without having to go to the doctor or the hospital and get a shot or take a pill. Okay? There's natural ways to do it. To this day, I can feel it sometimes coming on, and I just bear down, and I just go, "No," and I say, "No, I'm not accepting you, leave me alone." And I haven't had an episode in years and years and years, and thank God, and I hope I don't ever have another one like I did before. But it wasn't my heart, it was my stomach. But they didn't know that. I mean, I suppose if they'd done a ton of tests on me, maybe they could have figured it out, or if I told them, but I didn't know. And I didn't know till later, these symptoms that came on me, that my hiatal hernia was worsening, and then I had to figure it out. So this guy, who's not a doctor, technically, he's a naturopath, he's a quack, he told me the truth. He told me what to do, and I'm fine. I didn't have to get the prescriptions. I didn't have to go to the doctors. I didn't have to get the surgery. I didn't have to do it. So I tell people all the time, you don't have to go to doctors. You don't have to do it. Don't you get it? The 3rd leading cause of death is doctor. They put you on drugs, cut, burn, poison. Dr. Lorraine Day's thing. That's their 3 modes of operation: cutting, surgery, poison, drugs and vaccines, and burning, radiation. That's all they do. They don't tell you to take vitamin D3. They don't tell you to not eat Twinkies. They give you drugs. No, they don't give you drugs. They sell you drugs. They're drug pushers. And I get so frustrated with people. Even people who are more inclined to do natural things, they still go to doctors. And I'm like, why do you go? The only value I see in doctors, 2 things. Emergencies, you're bleeding out, you broke something, and then please, if you break something, don't get surgery. Emergencies and testing. Like blood tests they can do to determine that you may have a disease. Only value I see with doctors. because naturopathic doctors can't do blood tests and all the MRIs and all the things, and even MRIs and things like that, and the things where they squish your boobs. All those things are, bad anyway. But taking a blood test or, to determine what's wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's times when I think, gee, I should go to the doctor and see what's wrong with me exactly so I can address it more precisely. But I don't even put myself in that place because for years, doctors are, well, you're pre-diabetic. Okay, well, so I know what to do. If I'm pre-diabetic, I need to lose weight. I need to work on losing weight. I need to not eat sugar and carbs. I need to eat a lot of protein, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever you got to do, I got to take cinnamon, gymnema, different herbs you can take, whatever. There's so many things out there that are not these diabetic drugs, which can ruin your heart, can just really mess you up. The side effects of these drugs are not just like for me when I had nightmares and mood swings. That's not the totality of these substances. I mean, listen to the commercials, which you see all the time, especially in the evenings when more people are watching TV. You don't see them at 5:30 in the morning as much as you do at 5:30 in the evening. Every other commercial is a drug commercial, and the side effects are lymphoma, leukemia, death. That's a side effect. Death, cancer. There's a drug out there for diabetes that they say one of the side effects is bladder cancer. And my mom's telling me about a guy in her church that has developed bladder cancer. And I said, didn't you tell me this guy was diabetic? And she said, oh, yeah. I said, he took a diabetic drug and gave him cancer. So now he's going to go to the doctor and get chemo because they gave him cancer by prescribing him this diabetic drug. And so now he's going to continue to go. Now they're going to give him chemo. And who knows? I got to end this. I have an emergency situation. Well, God bless you. Don't go to doctors. If you found anything about my video edifying, I applaud you. Have a wonderful, blessed day.